Davison, Michigan. Can you believe that this place is only 10 minutes away from downtown Flint? Well, you better believe it because it's true. You know, Flint might have its problems and all, but over the years, for the most part, when people have left Flint, they've left for places right outside of Flint, such as Davison, because Genesee County overall hasn't seen the same rate of population decline as Flint has. We can get into all of that later. Overall, Davison is a pretty nice suburban community. It has a small town feel with plenty of nearby amenities, since the town is located in a decently populated area. Well, enough of these drone shots. Let's go see what the town looks like. It was a gray and cold, cloudy day when I came through, and you can count on that being the weather in Michigan for at least 4 months out of the year. With that said, I begin the video at Meijer, and for those of you who aren't from Michigan or any other state that has a Meijer, you can think of these as a small step above Walmart. Just a small step, because it's certainly not anything too fancy, as you still have your fair share of Mountain Dew drinking Hill Jacks coming through. Anyway, really quick, as if you enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell and select yes, so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. Alright, well just like with a lot of other places around here, there are two municipalities that we're going to go through in this video. One being the city of Davison, and the other, of course, being Davison Township. The name Davison comes from a man named Norman Davison, who was one of the important political guys for the state when Michigan became a state. He was one of the delegates who attended a convention in Detroit back in 1835, where they framed the first Constitution of Michigan, and Michigan became a state in 1837. The first settlers in Davison Township came through in 1836, and if you've been following along in my Flint area videos, it shouldn't be a surprise that they came from the state of New York, Saratoga County to be exact. In 1852, the area's first hotel was built, and it was located where today's intersection of M15 and Lapeer Road is. That eventually helped form the community that was called Davison Center. In fact, that's exactly where we are right now, the intersection of M15 and Lapeer Road. Today, it's full of service stations and fast food restaurants, as it's right next to a freeway exit. Yeah, nothing historic to see here, that's for sure. Well, later on in 1871, a railroad was constructed through, and development started to occur near the intersection of today's Flint and Main Streets. The new community was called Davison Station, exactly 1 mile north of Davison Center, and that's where today's downtown Davison is today. In 1872, a village was platted, and Davison Station was incorporated as a village in 1889. Only 4 years later, in 1893, the village was renamed to its current name of Davison. More on the history of Davison in a bit, as currently we're taking the scenic route to Davison High School. We're going to speed things up here a bit, and there we go, that's better. So yes, this is Davison High School, home of the Cardinals. Niche.com gives Davison High School a B grade, so that's pretty good. We'll talk more about the economic stats of the area later, but today, Davison is considered to be a decent community. In order to be considered as a decent community, you need to have good public schools, and Davison has that. Altogether, the Davison Community School District has 5 elementary schools along with a middle and high school, plus an intermediate school and an alternative high school. Among the most notable people from Davison includes author and journalist Kathleen Flynn, who wrote a New York Times bestseller titled as "The Sharper Your Knife, the Less You Cry." Filmmaker Michael Moore, who's known for the Flint documentary called Roger and Me. Former NHL and Team USA Olympic athlete on the 1980 Miracle on Ice team Ken Morrow, and another former NHL player, Tim Thomas. Well, now we're heading west into town from Davison High School, so with that said, let's finish up on where we were with the history. In 1989, Eminem actually started his rap career at the Davison Middle School talent show. He roasted the principal and was suspended, and that's when his family moved to 8 Mile. Okay, yeah, that didn't happen. I made that up. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. Yeah, that's all. Well, all right. Well, anyway. In 1894, a fire broke out in downtown, and the village didn't have a fire department. Flint firefighters sent over equipment on the railroad, but it was too late into getting to Davison. And after the fire burned, there was only one building left in downtown. The following year, Davison began their volunteer fire department to make sure that nothing like that was going to happen again, or they weren't prepared to fight a blaze. The town was able to rebuild from the fire, and early industries included washing machines, bricks, bathtubs, buggy works, a cheese factory, and a sawmill. So yeah, Davison never really grew to be a big town. It wasn't until the White Flight movement hit Flint when Davison started to see suburban-like growth, which was around the 1960s. Davison is a pretty small town in land area, but the surrounding township is much bigger and is often thought of as the same community, as the Davison Community School District serves both. Here you can see the population history for Davison, and looking at this might seem concerning at first, as it shows that Davison has lost 1,000 residents from its peak population. However, when you look at the numbers for the surrounding Davison Township, those concerns will probably go away pretty quickly, as Davison Township has seen a double-digit percentage population growth rate since the new millennium. Not really sure why the city has lost 1,000 people or so over the last 40 years, as it's a relatively safe community and the public schools are pretty good. The only thing that I can think of is that the town hasn't annexed any of the surrounding land within Davison Township, as that's where all the new housing additions have been built, and we all know that people like new things, including houses. And it's a little bit odd as to why they haven't annexed any land, because Davison is a civil township, not a charter township. And in Michigan, charter township status makes it nearly impossible for surrounding cities and towns to be able to annex any of their land. You usually see townships in Michigan attempt to gain charter status in more populated areas, such as Genesee County. So anyway, the opportunity is there for the city of Davison to expand if they wish to aggressively pursue that. Not all cities in Michigan have that opportunity. What's weird about these townships in Michigan is that it makes these cities look a lot smaller than they actually are when you look at the stats on paper, because honestly, Davison is more like a community of 20,000 people than it is a small town of just 5,000, and by looking at the city of Davison by itself, one would think that from afar, Davison is just a small town of 5,000 people, and that's just not true. To the left is Central Elementary School, which is the oldest standing school building in the city that's still continuously used as a school. And something tells me that this used to be the high school, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, today the city of Davison is home to 5,000 people, and the population of the city alone is estimated to be at 5,000 people. The median household income is only $48,000 per year, and 28% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher. The median value of owner-occupied housing units is $128,000, while the poverty rate is 18%. When it comes to the crime rates, Davison sees less than average in both violent and property crimes. The schools are rated as a B on niche.com, so that's pretty good. The Area Vibes livability score is 75 out of 100, with the biggest downside being employment because it's in the Flint metro area. So yeah, those economic numbers don't look very impressive, as there is a pretty high poverty rate for the city and some pretty low home values, but when you look at the stats for the much larger and more populated surrounding township, things look a lot better in every category except for the rate of college graduates among adults. Well, the main thoroughfare that we're on, which is State Road or M15, actually bypasses Davison's small business district, and we'll be heading through it shortly. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. And if Davison has anything over the wealthier Flint suburb of Grand Blanc, it would be that Davison has at least something that resembles a classic main street to highlight the downtown area. You could also argue that Housing costs are cheaper in Davison, but that comes with lower ranked schools. But if you're not a public school snob, then that shouldn't bother you much. And here is Davison's main street, which you can see is full of good activity. Another thing about Davison is that the town is known for being called the City of Flags. This originated from a local business called JC's in 1961 that started to sell flags. After several years of success in selling flags, in 1969 the city started calling themselves the City of Flags. In 1973, signs were constructed as you entered town, and in 1975, the city's slogan was officially known as the City of Flags. And in between the Davison City Hall and the library today is a plaza with 51 total flags, along with a monument that's been dedicated to local area veterans. Or at least, they're supposed to be flags. You can see the flagpoles in the monument, but at the time that I came through, flags were not flying at the plaza for whatever reason. Well, there's also the annual Davison Festival of Flags that's held here every summer, and today, while driving around Davison in the summer, you can find many area hilljacks proudly flying their flags outside of their Chevy and GMC pickup trucks. I hear you can even buy some flags in town with a Mountain Dew, a Bud Light, or a Monster Energy logo on it too. Maybe even a Copenhagen logo. Alright, well, it's actually a pretty cool identity that Davison has, in all honesty. It's cool because it's unique. And it's unique in a good way, not in the weird way, like Davison's neighbor to the west, Burton, as their festival is called the Burt-Tucky Days. You know, in that case, fly your flags all you want, Davison. Fly 'em proud. Burton will always have your number in the Here's Your Sign awards. Alright. Well, since there weren't any hilljacks driving their GMC and Chevy pickup trucks around on the day that I was filming this video while flying their flags outside of their windows, I'm going to go ahead and skip the video ahead to where I'm heading west on Flint Street from downtown, because for the next couple of minutes, I ended up driving around on streets that we've already seen. For those who have watched my Flint series and have seen all of those, this is the same road as Davison Road in Flint, and as soon as you get out of the Davison city limits, it becomes Davison Road, even in Davison Township. Looks a lot different out here than it does in the city of Flint, huh? For most of its stretch in Flint, Davison Road has seen much better days. And now we're out of the city limits of Davison and we're in Davison Township, which we will stay out of the city limits for the rest of this video, as we're going to see what some of the residential areas of the township looks like. And even though Genesee County's population overall continues to decline, we saw earlier how Davison Township continues to grow at a double-digit percentage rate. So it'll be interesting to see in the future if these fields stay as fields or if they get developed into something else pretty soon. Alright, well in this video you saw that there's more than to what meets the eye for the city of Davison, as it's surrounded by Davison Township, which continues to grow, and suburban developments continue to occur here and there. And like I said, it'd be interesting to see if all these fields become residential subdivisions within the next 20 years or so. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, we'll have to see, because you see some wealthy subdivisions spread throughout this entire township with these farm fields dotting the land in between. With that said, the party ends here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell and select yes, so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos with amazing insights on other places like what you saw here can be found in my Flint playlist or in my Michigan playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace!